My name is Richard Kane, and I'm the author and designer of the program. And
then where do we go? Oh, where do you go on live stream? Okay, we've got 2 minutes. Excellent.
Do you see, am I okay here?
Yeah, stunning, Elsa. Right, what we're going to do is I'm going to start letting people in. I'm just going to share the screen, and I'm going to bring that in now.
What was the question?
Can you see that?
Yes, I mean, I kind of hide my screen a little bit to be able to put my
Sweetie, you need to, your camera needs to come up a bit. I'm seeing just the up to your eyebrows.
Like this?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I've got a pen and paper here. Someone came up with a question. So, question from Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know, what is the most important area one needs to work on first to maximize personal impact? What is the most important area one needs to work on first to maximize personal impact?
Well, I would say that in order to maximize that impact, they really need to understand their why and the message they want to translate.
Perfect.
From that, we can start to work on that image that they want to portray out there. Okay. But that's the first thing, is the reason, the why, what is the message?
We're going live now, okay? So we're just going to start welcoming people in. Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, good morning, good day. Wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for taking time to join my wonderful colleague Elsa and me on this webinar, Maximizing Your Personal Impact, which is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn from an incredible woman. And I want you all, please, please, please get notepads, pens, paper, and there will be some golden nuggets that will be shared with you today or during this webinar. Hello, everybody. Welcome. People are coming in. Numbers are coming in fast. This webinar was fully booked, which is fantastic and just so lovely to see that there's so many people interested in what we have to share. The British School of Etiquette is very, very passionate about sharing knowledge and ideas and helping you build confidence. This is really what this is all about. If anyone thinks that etiquette and manners is all about the knife and fork, you need to think a lot harder and a lot deeper than that. Yes, it is about the knife and fork, absolutely. But it is so much more to what we have to share with you as an organization. We are the market leader in what we do. We are the only organization accredited with the accreditations that we hold. And we are a trailblazer, and we just love to deliver and offer and help people build and grow their confidence. People are still coming in. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I think we'll get started fairly shortly. Just letting people come on in there. Good evening from the Netherlands. We're getting some chats coming through. I know my wonderful colleague, Carol, is behind the scenes as well, who is just a superstar at these events and will always is there to assist. So if any questions, do put them in the Q&A box. Welcome to everybody. Yeah, people are coming in from Whitby, Ontario, Canada, from Chelmsford, all the way in the north of England, Cheshire area. We've got, it's 11:30 p.m. wherever you are, from Nathal van Wachen. Hope I got that name right. Dobrochna, hello, Dobrochna. Dobrochna is one of our amazing trainer students who's running her own organization in the etiquette arena. So just dynamic at what she's doing and achieving. She was recently interviewed, and she's got some wonderful, beautiful products going out there. So thank you, Dubravka, for joining us. Hello, hola from Mozambique. We've got someone coming in from California. We've got, this is just superb. So the numbers are really coming in. We're getting a wonderful amount of people coming through. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. A huge, big hug and a warm welcome from the British School of Etiquette. On behalf of myself and Elsa, we just want to share with you that we are so excited to have you here. And it is unbelievable that you can join us on this occasion. Elsa, we'll get started very shortly. We've got quite a few people still coming in. So bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. You've been incredibly punctual. And it's so lovely to see people from all over the world joining us on this webinar. The webinar is being recorded. So please, you will receive a recording of the webinar. And do stay to the end, because I know Elsa's got something that she would love to be able to offer to you wonderful people out there, which will really enhance everything about you, your confidence, your ability to just beam from all parts of who you are. So welcome, everybody. Numbers are still coming in. And I think, Elsa, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm hugely excited to welcome you. And this is such an amazing opportunity to be able to work with you. I've known you for just over 2 years now, and you're an incredible young lady, and it's a joy. All the way, ladies and gentlemen, from Grand Paris in France, obviously. So, you know, Elsa and I, it first started out our journey when Elsa joined us on one of our Polished Professional programs. This is one young lady who understands the value of growing, understands the value of investing in herself and studying to be a better version of herself day in and day out. So this is a joy that Elsa came on the Polished Professional. From there, she went on to book a couple of private coaching sessions, and we have formed an incredible bond and partnership. And I would love to just share with all of you that Elsa is a certified image consultant. She's a personal stylist. She's a business etiquette coach, and she has operated internationally for many, many years. The UK, USA, Europe. She's worked in the Middle East with some of our amazing clients. And Elsa takes huge pride and passion in helping her clients, you know, create a personal brand. And she really embodies their style and evaluates their professional status beyond what they thought is possible. It's just incredible. It's almost like someone gives you a key, and you're finding the correct key just to fit the correct lock. And this is really something that is just so beautiful and so incredible. How we present ourselves, how we sort of, I suppose it's about drawing attention to ourselves for all the right reasons rather than the wrong reasons. And as Iris Apfel said, fashion you can buy, but style you possess. The key to style is learning who you are, which takes years. There's no how-to roadmap to style. It's about self-expression and, above all, attitude. And I just love that. I absolutely love that. So, you know, at the end of the day, one thing is being able to put beautiful clothing on you, but really the beauty comes from within. You know, this beautiful style and this beautiful clothing and the way you walk and the way you present yourself is phenomenal and powerful and huge. But really it starts with you, what comes from inside. You know, by putting on having the confidence to dress in a certain way just adds extra value to that beauty that comes from within. And so without further ado, I really would like to take this opportunity to ask Elsa some questions, which I truly believe, I think this format works very, very well, because it gives Elsa the opportunity to ask questions. We had a few people send in some questions, and we felt that they were really paramount questions. So Elsa, before I get started and I welcome you, I would love to just ask you, why is mastering your image so important nowadays? Why is it so fundamental?
Hi, Philip. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited about it. Well, more than ever, we live in a fast-paced, competitive environment where people do not all interest in you for very long. To have your voice heard, you need to be very specific about your messaging. And I'm a firm believer, and that also comes down to what I do as an image consultant. You need to remain authentic to who you are and not portray someone you are not. So my job is to help my clients package themselves by portraying the best personal branding image and authentic style with confidence. Your image educates people on how to address you. You can be sure that you are perceived as a serious player when you really take the time to invest in a quality outfit that is appropriate for your environment and speak also to your personality. Your environment comes down to three things, which I call the TOP: time, occasion, and people. And really, it's about understanding the context you are stepping into. You see, your images comes down also to that in a way that you really need to understand who you are speaking to, who is your demographic, and how do you want to really say will you talk through your brand? Will you talk about your brand? Your image is about three things: your appearance, your body language, your communication, and what you have to say. And I always say, to become more successful, you don't have to change the way you are. You have to become more of who you are. You only have 7 seconds to make a first impression, and you really want to make that count. So my question to you is, what do you want people to say about you when you first enter into a room? And how do you want people to remember you when you leave that room? So pretty much you are your own CEO, your own marketing machine, and you need to take responsibility for your personal branding. You do not need to look like you are stepping out of a catwalk or wearing the most expensive clothes. The goal is to build a style and a wardrobe that represents your brand and messaging. And by investing in your image, you are not only investing in yourself, but you are also showing respect to yourself and to others.
I love that answer. And I love the idea, this personal brand. One thing that you and I both work a lot on is really giving people the confidence and sharing with people that you out there, you are your brand. At the end of the day, if you ask someone what telephone they have and they say, I've got an Apple, and you say, well, I'm thinking about getting an Apple. Currently, I've got a Samsung and I want to get an Apple telephone. What do they like? Could you share your opinion? And people go, wow, it's got an amazing camera and it's just got this application and it easily syncs with all your other Mac products. It's just phenomenal, this telephone. And Apple are just giving you a big hug. Yeah, baby, because you're an advocate for them. You are selling them flat out. We as human beings, we need to learn to sell ourselves. And then when you do have, it doesn't need to be designer brands. I know that for a fact. You can absolutely, when you feel comfortable with what you're wearing, you have that confidence. And this is the beauty about a stylist, is that they get it right first time round. Some of us don't have a trained eye on, some of us don't really sort of see ourselves in a certain light. And this is where, getting on board with professionals to guide you and steer you actually saves you the angst and saves you a huge amount of time and money. And, branding is it is the key thing. Think about it. Wherever we go now, social media, everything is about you and your brand. And I just love the way you put that across. And I know that we as human beings, we also communicate in different spheres. So in other words, the power of our body language. And when you feel confident in what you're wearing, your body language is going to be far more elevated. You're going to come across with you're far more dynamic. That is for sure. I know that for a fact. So thank you for such a wonderful answer. Now, my next question to you is, how would you sort of describe personal branding when it comes to image? How would we describe the actual way that personal branding sort of affects us when it comes to actual image?
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, personal branding, it's a practice that consists for an individual to promote the image and the skill. But to sell your skill, we need to pay attention to you without you having to speak. And your image should reflect what you do have to offer. Suppose you were to picture yourself as a brand. This brand needs to package itself to establish an identity, something desirable that we want to buy into. And to do that, you need to be a master at translating your brand into your image. Remember that your image is the first thing that is available to others. And so my work as an image consultant is to make sure that I guide my client to align the true self, the confidence in the best way to portray the personal brand. It's really an in-depth work that really goes beyond the fancy aspect of fashion, of wearing just what is current and what is trendy. And I do work with keyword with my client because it helps me to really understand where they want to go and the why, and also to understand the pinpoint where they are coming from as well. So to me, identifying the why of my client is very important. Why do they need to make this change? How would it benefit them if they could picture themselves as a very confident and assertive person? It is a game changer. And you do not need to invest thousands of dollars to create a wardrobe with clothes that really represent your brand and help you feel confident, comfortable with making a positive impact.
That's a wonderful explanation and answer. And if I could elaborate on that, I just want to share with everybody, and I know we've got a mixture of men and women on this. I would imagine predominantly women from seeing the registrations. I just, as a young man, I came over to this country, and my background was in hospitality and restaurants, and I wanted to shift myself away from that industry altogether. And something, when I arrived in the UK, I had a friend who worked in an employment agency, and this is back in the day where, a little bit of a connection here, a connection there. And I said to her, would you be able to potentially get me an opportunity doing something in a bank? I wanted to understand how the City of London sort of worked. And she did. She actually got me a job looking at these funny little screens called microfiche. And it just shows you how long ago that was. And I didn't have a suit. And for those of you who know the United Kingdom, we are inundated with wonderful charity shops here, and people give away really top quality clothing to these amazing charity shops. And I went into a charity shop and I found an old Marks and Spencer suit, which was blue, and I tried it on, and you know what? It looked okay. It was a bit sort of loose around my waist, around my girth here. And I thought, okay, but the cuff was perfectly aligned and the trousers were slightly too long. And I bought it. I think it was all for £5. And I went around the corner to the local dry cleaners where there was an incredible, lovely seamstress from India who helped me nip and tuck the blazer and really aligned it to my figure and hemmed the trousers, and came back a few days later and I tried it on and I was like, boom, man, I felt like $1 million. I felt so confident and so powerful in this beautiful old M&S suit. And whenever I wore it, many people would always compliment the suit. They really would. And so much so that I actually went and invested in 2 other suits and did exactly the same thing. So for all of about 12 or 14 pounds in those days, I'd invested in something that suited me literally to the ground. So I love your answer there, because it is, you don't need to spend millions and thousands of dollars on clothing and throwing what I'd love to share is money at the problem. It's not that at all. So thank you for such a great answer. My next question to you is, how would you sort of describe the psychological impact of clothing on oneself, and one's self-confidence and one's sort of self-being? How would you go about sort of giving us that sort of breakdown on the psychological impact?
Yeah, sure. Well, you see, image matters, and I'm passionate about helping my client to reach their full potential by showing them how powerful clothes can be as a tool to increase their confidence and achieve more. And really, when you put the right outfit on you, you do feel more confident about yourself. It is really an instant feeling. And actually, studies have shown that clothes have a positive impact on how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. And after my client goes through my process, many of them have achieved things they had not imagined possible before. For example, they have told me of the opportunities that came to them due to changing the way they dress. They were viewed differently by bosses, given increased responsibilities, and found the confidence to speak up in meeting. One of them went from promotion. Others were able to attract new clients for their business. And some actually attend networking even they used to avoid because they didn't feel confident in the past, and now they were feeling that they could basically protect themselves the way they really wanted to. And to me, it's really about having your A game when you are going to work, or simply stepping out of your home.
Absolutely. I know you often share with me that it takes just as much effort to throw a tracksuit top on as it does a nice blazer or blouse. And yeah, it's true. I think we all need to make an effort. And this is something that, again, I want to sort of elaborate on. Just in what you're sharing, the psychological effect it actually has on us. And here's a question to everybody out there is, have any of you sort of rushed to get ready and rushed out the door to a meeting or to a date or to a dinner or whatever it might be, to an occasion, and halfway through or halfway getting to that venue, you're going, something's bugging me. I just don't feel right. And it's because you've rushed, you haven't prepared, you haven't planned the outfit for that occasion. And it's happened to all of us. And it absolutely smashes your confidence. Maybe not all the day, but you'll be busy doing something, ding, and then it sparks something in your head and you just feel, oh, crumbs. I don't like what I'm wearing. I don't like the shirt I chose all the time. And you can't literally get rid of it. So it is, and again, what we share as we deliver our coaching and training is that everything in life is about preparation. It's 100% preparation and planning ahead. So thank you for sharing that, because I love your analogy, and not an analogy, the proof's in the pudding. People get promoted, people go places. And it's something I love sharing with everybody is you're one person and one opportunity away from someone changing your life for the rest of your life. And boom, it's just that one moment. Just because you're wearing something that is just perfect on you, it's a color, it's something, boom, someone wants to connect with you. They want to introduce themselves to you. Who's that person over there? That looks like an interesting human being. And I tell you what, this is like a moth to a flame. So I love that breakdown on the side. And I know you dig a lot deeper into the psychological impact that this really has on everybody. My next question for you is, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, not to mention the war right now, but right now we have obviously this wretched virus that's causing huge chaos in the world. And with this current sort of crisis, many of us have become, and forced to work from home. It's one of those things. And it's not a total hardship, but we are forced to work at home. So Elsa, for me, by being forced to work at home, what sort of tools can you give to this wonderful audience to maintain our way of dressing professionally? And what are the benefits here, really, when it comes to this?
Well, firstly, what I want to say is that I know that it might be very tempting when you work from home to avoid making an effort, since you assume that nobody can see you. And I completely understand that. However, I do not recommend lowering your standard of showing up for yourself every day. And you still need to make an effort to represent yourself and to represent your brand. So just to give you an example, one of my previous clients that I was with last week, actually, she had to pivot a business entirely online since the beginning of COVID. And as she was attending online video calls and live on social media, she contacted me to help her rebrand a professional image. And so my tip to her, based on the image she wanted to convey, was to start with using what she had already. And I got her through a style that she could quickly implement every day at home. So my advice would be really to do not get stuck in a sweater routine. Most of my clients have this problem right now. And really dress up as if you were going to work. Perhaps use this time to try on things you did not wear in the past. Try to be creative with your wardrobe as well. Use this time to review your wardrobe. You also may realize that you are missing some pieces to create what you really want to portray. And I always say, invest at least in 3 professional looks. And if you like skill, well, you can seek the help of a professional to help you better in that context.
Absolutely. And again, none of us are born with a satellite navigation system. We need guidance and steering. And, whether it be going for a stylist or whether you're going for an image consultant, stroke stylist, which Elsa is both, obviously, or whether it's going for someone to mentor you in a specific area of your life, or a coach to push you out of your comfort zone. We all need guidance and steering. And, again, I think I want to come back to what you were speaking about there. This is not about throwing huge amounts of money at the so-called challenge or problem. This is about being creative and clever. And by bringing that person on board to help you and guide you, you can really sort of go through the various different items of clothing that you have hanging in your wardrobe. And that person who's a specialist and someone who really understands color and understands style can guide you and steer you. I mean, let's think about this. We don't go and see a knee doctor if we've got a headache. You want to go and see a specialist. And you want to really, make sure that you connect with that individual. It's very, very important on that level. It's huge. It really is. So thank you for that elaboration. Now, my next question to you is, how can you and the service you provide help people save time and money, as well as defining their style preferences and sort of personal branding? So I'd love you to sort of elaborate and expand on that, please.
Well, my service can help anyone, because the process I use focus really on the creating an image solution for your specific needs, messaging, and the image you want to portray. So therefore, the elements that I take into consideration are your lifestyle, your personality, your environment, your body shape, your color analysis, your budget, which is very important. And also I work with keywords to define your brand and your style better. And in addition to those elements, I help you to build a wardrobe with targeted outfits for your environment that will reflect your style and your brand. So when you go through this process, your wardrobe will be optimized with functional pieces, and that will prevent you from making bad purchases and save you time in the morning by getting dressed faster. And each look will have its opportunity to be worn. So my job will be to guide you through this process entirely. It's really an in-depth work that I provide for my customer. I take everything into consideration, not just the clothes itself, but really who they are as a person. And my job is really to translate what they have on the inside to the outside.
Thank you very much for that, Elsa. Again, I love the idea of actually getting to know who you're dealing with, because so many people, I think what we call pigeonhole people and say, you must wear heels, or you must wear X, or you must wear Y. And I think it's about really getting to know the people that you connect with, and they're not just a number. They are really, they become very much a part of your life, because I know that from my experience working with you, is that you have an incredible connection with people, and not only that, you go above and beyond. So I love your approach in working with people, and again, it's nerve-wracking to take that first step, and that's, I know, again, is where you have such a lovely, soft, gentle approach. And one big attribute of many of your attributes is that you listen. You actually take on board what people are sharing with you, without them being steamrolled or spoken over or not, I suppose, taken seriously. And that really is a huge attribute in your process working with people. Elsa, I know that you've got many things you would love to share with people. I'm going to open the floor, if I may, to some questions. Okay. So I know we had a question that came in. Excuse me, picking up my mobile phone. It is off, and I just was off, but it's on flight mode. But I have a question from Nancy, and Nancy came up with a very interesting question, which I thought was really perfect for this evening's webinar. Was, what is the most important area one needs to work on first to maximize their personal impact?
Well, that's your messaging. You really need to understand your message. What do you want to say? What image do you want to portray? And understand your why. Why do you want to portray that message? And really, by understanding that, this is the core of creating your image.
Okay. Is there anything else you would love to elaborate on that? Anything more flesh on the bone on that? Or do you think,
Sure. Well, yeah. For sure. So to give you an example, when I work with the clients, I do take into consideration first who they are as a person. So they come as a human being talking to me and telling me, Elsa, this is where I am right now, this is where I want to go, and this is the message I want to portray. So my job as a stylist, which I also can call as a style coach, is really to understand the pinpoint, really to understand what are the needs and how can I solve the problem here. And the problem is solved obviously through clothing, but through the choice of fabric, to the choice of color, through the environment, understanding where are they going to be. So I need to really take that into consideration. The lifestyle, because depending on your lifestyle, obviously you will not be wearing the same outfits. The budget, which is also very important, the style personality. And all of this is basically very important. They are components to basically build the end result. But the first thing is who is my customer, who they are as an authentic self, and how can we translate that message through the image and the why, the messaging. And so that's what I've said to you. This is the core ingredient to create the recipe for the end result.
Love it. Okay, super. That's a nice elaboration. Thank you for that. Now, for those of you listening, and thank you very much once again for your time and coming on to this webinar. Please type your questions into the Q&A boxes. Someone said, "Hello, I have no voice." We don't have the facility to open up to actual verbal speaking or questioning. So please, we really want interaction from you wonderful people out there. Please just type your questions into the Q&A. Now Nancy's come in here. Can a color consultation be done online, or is it best to do it in person when it comes to color analysis? And I know you and I were talking about this, and I know you've been working with quite a few clients recently on this particular area.
Well, that's a very good question, Nancy. Actually, I've been trained to do color analysis online, so both are completely possible. I've had amazing results with online color analysis as well. I've been trained by the 4x4 color system, which is recognized through AACI, one of the biggest image consulting school. So both of it are completely doable, and both of it are completely perfect with the end result.
Absolutely. And again, I love the word color, and ladies and gentlemen, color is hugely important, right across the board. So, some people have got this beautiful, lovely, olivey, darkish skins, which are just stunning. And color really helps it. Well, they don't struggle with as many colors as, let's say, with my pale white skin. If I wear beiges, I'm just drained. I just look like I've just come out of, the hospital bed, feeling, drained. And so color is hugely important. And another thing that's fundamental about color is, if any of you are presenting or working from the front of the room or want to make an impact, funny enough, red is a very powerful color, and can really stand out and give you that extra boost and confidence you need. Remember, make yourself memorable for all the right reasons. Now, one of our amazing students, Sonia, who also, ladies and gentlemen, runs a superb etiquette program for children and for teens, who's been an incredibly long-standing student of the British School of Etiquette. Sonia asked, what makes a lady look sophisticated and classy or not?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, it doesn't come just about your clothing. It also comes down to your manner and your body language and communication skill. To me, a sophisticated woman is really a package with her appearance, the way she dresses, based on who she is as a personality and who she is as a personality. And also, it's about her age, it's about the body shape, it's about wearing the right outfit for you. That is also very important. And also the way you behave yourself when you are out there. So there is not one single defined way to say if someone is sophisticated or classy. It really depends on my clients. I don't have one single formula for every client. If you want me to elaborate a little bit more into that, I will be very happy to do so, to give you some tips, and I will be very happy to offer a 30-minute call consultation with you as an offer, where we can go a little bit further down that topic if you would like to.
Yeah, that's an incredible offer and very generous, Elsa. Thank you for that. But if any of you have got any questions, just email Orsa at hello@the-British School of Etiquette, and we can work out a calendar system where you can book time with Elsa. So that really is very, very generous. That really is. My next question for you is, could you please recommend any good books on personal branding and how to get started on building your personal brand?
Sure. There is someone that I really like. She calls Sylvie De Gusto, if I pronounce it right. And she's really one of the leader when it comes to leadership image. If I'm right, I think that the name of her book is called The Image of Leadership, but I will confirm that with Philip, and I will get back to you on that. But that's a very, very good book. Another one that is called Mastering Your Professional Image, which I think I have just right here. It's by Diane Parente and Stephanie Peterson. Mastering Your Professional Image, and you can find this on Amazon.
Excellent. Sorry, I was actually just looking. I was just looking for a book on my bookshelf here, but it's not here. It's next to my bed, because I'm really focused on dipping in and dipping out of things and learning all the time. So it's next to my bed, and I can't for the life of me remember what that book is called. But the ones you've just recommended are superb. And again, anybody, if we haven't been able to answer your question more in depth than you would like us to, then please just email us, and again we can potentially elaborate further in an email. Now, here's something which is really interesting, and I know I would love you to answer it, Elsa, and then I'd love to have my input. And it's from a colleague of ours who is just a super specialist when it comes to emotional intelligence and building people's confidence through the power of EQ. And it comes from Richard, and he says, how would you advise us to choose a background for online meetings?
That's a very good question. Same as how would you like to be represented when people have an online meeting with you? So basically, your background needs to represent your messaging and what you would like to portray and to convey through your call. And I have to say that I'm very sorry for my background today, because the lighting is not the best, and I would have loved to portray another beautiful background, but it pretty much comes down that the same thing. in terms of the technical part, well, I'm not a tech expert, but Zoom has a very good feature and really easy to understand for you to set up a nice background.
And that's great, because Richard and I work tirelessly at various backgrounds, and we've, it is important, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you're doing, it's going to represent who you are and your professional background. And actually, in your defense, Elsa, your background's plain, it's fine, it's not interfering, and you're not there's no double image, and you haven't messed around. So, you've done what you can with what you've got, which is fantastic. So, don't underplay yourself on that one. Some other questions are coming in, which is it obvious to wear perfect fitting dresses, or we can wear modest loose dresses and become amazing at the same time? So is it obvious to wear perfect fitting dresses, or can we wear modest loose dresses and become amazing at the same time? Is that something
that will depend? Sorry to interrupt, Philip. I thought you were finished with the question. That will depend on your body shape. Not every body shape can wear loose clothes. If that answers your question.
And I like your answer there, and I think it is all assessing your body shape. And I know you get very technical. People have an asparagus shape, or they have a broccoli shape, or a pear shape, or various shapes that you have. And when you go through the analysis with your clients, I know you really support them in. I think it's giving them the confidence as well that they feel okay to wear something slightly looser, which is fantastic. It really is. Now, do we have any advice for teenagers specifically?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I don't work with teenagers, but that's a good question. Well, this is not my specialty. You mean styling for teenagers, if I understand right?
I think just generally, just working with teenagers, what sort of advice or guidance would you give to a teenager? If a teenager said to you, I know obviously getting to know the person, one has to get to know the person, but just some generic advice for a teenager. What would you, I suppose, would you share with them what you're sharing with an adult?
Yes, I really think I would share the same thing. Obviously, the environment will be very different than our environment, but it pretty much it will be the same process. The same process. It will just be taking into consideration different aspects of their life, because obviously they're teenager, but pretty much will be the same thing. Yes.
And I love that question, because again, when we work with Mindset and Manners, which is our core teenage program, we focus a lot on mindset, and we give them the tools to really understand the importance of image and the importance of presentation. So, coupled with your styling background and your helping them build their confidence, this is really what this is all about. Which things or style is a big no for downward triangle body shape? So which things or style is a big no-no for downward triangle body shape? So I would imagine we're talking more about the pear shape here.
So you're talking about the pear shape. Oh, sure. So basically, the goal of an image consultant when she analyzes your body shape is to balance your body. So for instance, if you are a pear, you want to add texture and fabric to your shoulder part. So I'm a pear shape, for example. And the no-no is to add stiff fabric around your hips. Silk doesn't work well. Velvet doesn't work well. You really want to enhance your upper body and really to create that line, that shoulder line here, for basically to recreate the balance within your body, if that answers your question. So the no is, do not put too much weight around the hips part. In terms of print, the same. Do not wear big print on the hips parts. If you want to wear print, make sure they are very narrow to each other, because the effect that it will do is that if you wear print that are wide to each other, it will make you bigger. Whereas if you wear print that are closer to each other, it will shrink the size of your hips. So really you want to rebalance your body by using the shoulder part.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I know this is obviously an interesting question. Are there any colors we should avoid? And if I may sort of jump to a conclusion here before you answer, I would imagine you would need to assess the individual first to look at their complexion, the color of their hair.
Yes.
You know, absolutely. And I think that is it's a huge bonus and plus when you do. You know, Elsa, I think you've got a color wheel that you work with as well, a color chart.
I do. Yes.
Yeah, you work with
I have two here actually. Here, can you see it properly?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my color wheel. And then the second one is here. So as Philip said, it really depends on your skin complexion. Basically, when you do a color analysis, you have 4 seasons, which is spring, summer, winter, and autumn. And so the job of any image consultant that will do a color analysis is to analyze which season are you falling into. And based on that, we recommend a specific color palette for you to use. And so the wheel, it's also a great tool. I just want to make sure that you see correctly. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit technical here, but I just want to make sure I explain everything right. So when you have a color wheel here, just to give you an example, here you have a violet, and just in front of it, you do have a green. Those two are what we call complementary color, which means that the color that you have in front of each other on the wheel, they can be worn together as complementary. Then you have another way to create an outfit, which is what we call monochromic. So basically, it's by using the tint, the tone, and the shade of the color. But you do have the pure color here. And then you also have another way, which is analogous. Sorry, my French accent with the pronunciation. So basically, those is basically using colors that are close to each other. Those 3 colors, for example. So basically, the wheel also help us as image consultants when we have found out your color to really help you to guide you through the way you can basically use the color together. And so which color will be your core color and which color will be your accent color. So right now, I'm just giving you a little bit of an explanation, but if you have a session with me, I will go through obviously all the aspects of and the step of the color analysis.
Super answer. Interestingly, just going back to the teenagers, and Sonia has great experience working with children, and I absolutely advocate this 100%. Her advice to kids and to teens that she works with: wear clothes that reflect your personal style, but just make sure that it's neat, clean, ironed, and you know that you look well groomed. And so be who you are, and in clothes that reflect your personality, but be presentable. You know, I think this is one of the key areas. It is, you know, no disrespect, but you know, you see children here in the UK who wear uniforms and the shirts untucked and the ties, and I just think, you know, you could just make more of an effort just to have that, you know, to place that tie in the correct place, for example, to tuck your shirt tail in, to have the tie at the right sort of length. And so, you know, it is about making an effort. We need to make an effort. And I think it's 100% fundamental. And talking of ties, again, Richard's asked tie or no tie in the 21st century. And my input on that is, it depends who you're dealing with. And I truly believe that. So if you're going into a situation where no one's wearing a tie, you're not going to walk in with a tie because you will stick out like a sore thumb. You want to be on a very similar par and level. However, for example, when I'm delivering the polished professional, I'll always wear a suit and tie because it is the polished professional that we're delivering. And you know, when I connect with the audience and my students, I want them to understand how I'm showing huge respect toward them, and I'm also showing massive amount of respect to me as a coach, as a person who walks the walk and talks the talk. So I think what's very important, to be very sort of straight on this answer, is that do your research. You know, find out what environment you're going to be finding yourself in, and off the back of that, dress accordingly, dress appropriately. And I really, you know, I always believe overdress rather than underdress, because when you overdress, at least you can start to remove parts of clothing that will then put you on a par with everybody else in the room. So that's a fantastic question. There's an interesting question that's come through. How about boundaries? Okay, building a fence around you and be a bit more mysterious. Are you with that for building your personal image? Is there a way? It's an interesting question. How about boundaries? Okay, so creating boundaries, creating some limitations, building a fence around you and being a bit more mysterious. Are you an advocate of that? Would you agree with that in building your personal image? So I suppose the way I sort of understand that question is sort of creating a bit of mystery about who you are and what it is you do. I hope I've got that correct.
Yes,
sure
okay. So basically, there is no right or wrong, really, if I understand your question right. If this is your personality, if this is who you are, and this is how, if it is the way you feel comfortable with yourself, of course, there is definitely a way to create that image and create that style. I really don't think that there are any rule, except when you really have to stick to a certain dress code, for instance, in your work environment, or if you attend a specific event, that is something else. But if it's really about representing yourself and portraying your image on a daily basis, and if it really that speaks to you, of course, you can definitely work on that, and you can definitely stick with this style persona with you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Elsa. So there's an interesting question that's come in from someone in the audience who hasn't shared their name, but that's obviously no challenge or issue. And it is really about advice with regard to picking up on nonverbal cues and body language, as this can have an effect on your confidence and how you come across with people. Now, if I may, I'd like to start off with that answer, and then I'd love you to kick in, Elsa. On body language and on nonverbal, 75 to 80% of our communication is nonverbal. So, you know, how we behave, or how we sort of stand, how we sort of, you know, be it your posture, your movement, the way you move, your hand movements, your facial expressions, will all have a huge impact. And on quite a lot of our, well, actually all our coaching programs, we go in depth into the importance of body language, the power of body language. We bring in snippets of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. We bring in strong elements of EQ, because your emotional intelligence, your EQ, the way you see yourself, whether it's be with self-confidence or motivation or empathy, these facets and these areas of your being will absolutely affect your non-verbal and your body language. And so, you know, it's understanding how to read people, for starters, and that's the beauty about EQ, is learning to, you learn about a huge amount about yourself, but also learning to sort of understand other people and why do they behave that way, why do they tick, what can I pick up from that individual, what are they saying to me on a non-verbal basis. So from that point of view, is there anything that you would like to elaborate on, Elsa?
Sure. To me, and really, I really think that they both comes together. The image, the appearance, when it comes to clothing. So how do you want to represent yourself? It's also a way of nonverbal communication. But let's say if you were to be wearing one of the most expensive suits, for instance, but that your body language didn't really align with that beautiful suit, something would be really off about you, right? So I personally think that they both comes hands to hands together. That's my opinion. And that's what I see also with my clients. Really, in order to really be very confident about yourself, to really build your personal branding, you need to have both skill. You need to be able to know how to portray the best nonverbal communication, as well to portray the best image of yourself.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. So that just complements exactly what I was sharing and saying. Mm-hmm. There's a lovely question that's come in. Which colors are the worst colors for the autumn color palette right now? What would you say are the worst colors for the autumn palette at the moment, currently on display?
You mean something that I personally don't like, or some?
yeah, the question is, which colors are worst color for autumn color palette? That's the question. So it's not very elaborate. So I don't know how you'd like to answer that.
Well, I would say I just actually have something in mind. I would say a very, very, very bright or almost icy violet color. It's for me a no-no. That's what I have in mind right now. I have this color in mind because this is something I saw the other day, you know, in a store in Paris, and actually that crossed my mind. I was like, oh, I don't like this color. This doesn't work for the season. That's my opinion, but I don't know if I answered the question right, or if you were talking about which color doesn't work for an autumn palette, as if you were an autumn season. I mean, I just want to know if this is what you meant.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. Which cloth and style are best for body with a wider shoulder than the hip? So what sort of cloth, what sort of material and style is best for the body that is wider on the shoulder and more narrow in the hip?
Okay, well, so when your shoulder are wider than your hip, here the goal is to create a waist. So you want to put fabric that are more fluid and lighter on the shoulder, and you want to add weight with the fabric to define the waist. So that's pretty much the goal when you have this body shape, when wider shoulder and smaller hips.
I know we're sort of coming toward the hour, and we said we'd be on for an hour this evening because I know people have got commitments and things like that. There's some fantastic questions coming in, and you know, one of the questions, just to, and I don't want to sort of diss anyone this evening or this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are in the world. What I'm going to ask you to do, because of timing, is to please send these questions in via email, and we will absolutely answer them. I think this is a really important thing for us to be able to do on your behalf. You've given us, you know, your time. Something that is an incredibly well, I'm going to go. There are two very interesting questions here, and no one question is more important than the other. This is a really intriguing A, and B, a deep question. So, how do you overcome self-confidence and personal image on physically those bad days? For example, a bad skin or a bad hair day, or times where you just feel you have put on a little bit of extra weight and you aren't feeling really physically good about yourself. Can you?
First of all, you need to give yourself the grace to have bad days, because we're all human and we're not perfect. And that's life. That's the first thing. Then you really need to, what I say to my clients, you really notice how you are talking to yourself when you have those bad days. And what I say to my clients is really to reframe those self-negative talk. So for instance, if you don't feel good one day, or maybe you're going through a period in your life where you gain weight, your skin look bad, or whatever it may be, really be gentle to yourself and know that everything is temporary and you can still look amazingly beautiful the way you are, and really embrace it and know that you can be heading toward best days, and you can carry on improving on yourself and the way you look. But really don't feel bad about yourself, because
Absolutely.
we all have seasons.
Yeah, and we all, you know, again, just to elaborate on that, we all have, you know, we're human beings and we have good days and bad days. And I think that's where a mind feed kicks in as well. And, you know, you've just got to sometimes just say to myself, you know what, I'm going to be just, as you use that word, be gentle on you for that particular period. And, you know, we all have the opportunity to make a change in our lives. And you know, it's up to you at the end of the day, whether you want to portray a good image and a positive image or a negative image. Really, it's up to you at the end of the day. It's your choice. And again, I think just by being gentle, by thinking of what one can do to make these changes. And unfortunately, it's not abracadabra and a bunny rabbit jumps out the hat. This takes a lot of mindset and preparation. And, you know, just start the day maybe a bit slower than usual, and have a bit of mindfulness, and maybe disconnect if you can afford to that day from people, and maybe reshuffle your day a little bit differently so that you can avoid any interaction that you are concerned about. And I know we can get deep into this, so thank you for your answer on that one. Now here's a great question, which is, I'm typically quite a shy person meeting people until I feel comfortable with that person, and then I come out of my shell. How can I become more outgoing when first meeting an individual? I'd love to answer that one. And I think, again, through dress, how you dress, you'll feel confident walking into a room. You might have those butterflies in your stomach, but, here at the British School of Etiquette, we actually equip you with the most incredible tools to circumvent you feeling like that going forward. So, again, Jennifer, please do make contact. I'd love to be able to elaborate on that for you. And it is by equipping yourself, preparation, with some fundamental tools that will give you that opportunity to sort of put the correct foot forward, whether that be the right foot or the left foot. And please also remember, no one's going to bite you or bark at you. So have that in the forefront of your mind. No one's going to diss you or poo-poo you. That's the issue we might have with ourselves. So I want you to all, and Jennifer predominantly, is to go in there with an attitude, I've got someone I could meet here, someone could change my life for the rest of my life. And this is really, I think, again, working on your mindset in a massive way. Right, defining body shapes. Again, please send us an email on these questions. We'll be more than happy to answer. Let me just see if there another question just before we close off. Yeah, again, there's some wonderful questions. One other question, I think, Elsa, what is the difference between a personal stylist and an image consultant?
Very good question. So, basically, an image consultant will really take you on a journey to translate who you are on the inside, on the outside. So basically, we are looking at yourself as an authentic self. See, who are you as a person? We want to understand you. And then that you, we want to translate that image outside. That's what an image consultant does. And then a personal stylist really will help you to create look and style that are current and trendy, also based on your personality style, based on your lifestyle. But really the job of an image consultant, it's very much deeper. It's very, very much deeper. An image consultant takes so much more thing into consideration in terms of yourself, your authentic self. And I mean, to me, like, both are amazing. But when I coach my client as an image consultant, I just love the journey of bonding with them, because it's beyond the clothes. It's beyond that. It's really, if you were to wake up something inside them and also help them to really beat this low self-esteem, or this I don't like myself. Or I think I saw a very good question there, basically that kind of can basically be answered to that question. What most mistake women are making is that, and what I see most of the time is that they're trying to portray someone they're not. And that's the biggest mistake, because we are all unique. So why trying to portray someone you are not? You are you. You have your body shape, you have your personality, you have your environment, you have your lifestyle. And what about making the best out of it? It's not about wearing the latest trend. Of course, you can be current and trendy, but don't try to be someone you're not. Don't try to be another body shape, another you. Doesn't work. Just be the most beautiful you can be. That's what I always say to my client.
Super, super, super. And I do have to finish off with this last question, because it's now being reiterated. What Nurat was asking was, which color is not good for people who have who follow autumn color palette? They have warm skin and hair, dark eyes. Is there anything that's a no-no on that level?
Yes, so basically, when you think autumn, and also you think earth, something that is earthy, something that is warm. So you don't want to go towards something that is too bright and too icy. So you don't want to go toward a winter color palette, for example. You really want to steer toward that earthy tone. So that will be my advice to you. And then obviously, if you want to elaborate in that, you can contact the British School of Etiquette, and I will be very happy to have a session with you on your color analysis if you would like to.
Super. Elsa, before we sign off, and I know we could keep going, but I am conscious that we said we'd be on for an hour this evening, and people have been incredibly gracious with their time. I know you would love to share with everybody here on the webinar that you've got a fantastic offer, which I think I was actually quite shocked when you shared it with me, but I think it's wonderful. And especially through these challenging times, you know, ladies and gentlemen, now's the time to invest in yourself, because when we do get out of this wretched scenario, it really will, you will be at a different level to everybody else. Now is the time to really take the control that you have to invest in you, whether it be in styling, in coaching, in whatever it might be, in sport, whatever it is that you want to do to move your life forward. So over to you, Elsa.
Yes, thank you very much, Philip. So I do offer a 20% discount to one of my online services. So nowadays, especially with COVID, I think it will be very good to start with your wardrobe. So I do have an amazing online wardrobe edit session with a personal styling session, which is normally £615 which is now 492. With this session, I will guide you through the process of clearing your wardrobe, understanding what doesn't work in your wardrobe, creating look and outfit that work for your lifestyle, understanding your style personality, understanding your body shape, understanding your color, understanding your I think I name it all. I think I name everything. And with that, you will be able to do that from the comfort of your own home. We will have an hour and a half Zoom call consultation. And after that, my deliverable would just be so specific to you that you will be able to really use the best of your wardrobe. And I will also guide you through a shopping list really bespoke to your need.
Thank you, Elsa. You know, again, Elsa, thank you. We're getting beautiful comments coming through. People are really absolutely delighted with the way the webinar's gone. And I have to openly say that such a joy as always, and to be able to impart this wonderful knowledge, because this is all about huge amounts of time, energy, effort, investment, that Elsa's been on this journey for. I'm not giving your age away because you're not old at all, but you've been around on this earth long enough to work damn hard to get to where you've got to. And I know you're an incredibly dynamic individual. You're always looking at ways you can help yourself and then in turn help other people, which is just phenomenal. So, you know, I'm giving you a very warm, big virtual hug. And to all you incredible people out there, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, over 100 people signed up for this webinar this evening. We actually had to close the webinar and open it up on live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And what is disappointing is when people sign up and they don't pitch up on the evening, because it's basically knocked someone off the list, which is one of those things. But everyone will get a copy of this webinar. It will be emailed to you with the follow-up offer. And as both Elsa and I said, you know, the door's open. Please send us an email at hello@thebritishschoolofetiquette.com with any questions, and we are here to support and guide as best as possible. Over to you, Elsa.
Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful question. I wish I could have answered all of them, but we're running out of time. I hope that my advice were valuable to you. I hope that I can assist you in the future, that I can serve you, because this is what I'm passionate about, is to serve my customer and really to help you to transform yourself and take you on this beautiful journey on what is image consulting and personal branding and styling.
Merci beaucoup.
Daria.
It's really wonderful. To everyone out there in the world from all over the place. I mean, I've seen Brazil, America, the Middle East, Africa. It's just fantastic that the reach is so wonderful. And so there is a plus to being able to do these Zoom webinars. And I know that time doesn't suit everywhere in the world, but you know, for all of those of you who stayed up for the webinar, for those of you who got up early to join the webinar, from us here at the British School of Etiquette, we thank you very much. Please watch this space. We are working on a webinar next Wednesday, which is going to be my wonderful colleague Richard Cullinan and me. We're going to be on an EQ journey, again, elaborating and giving you some fundamental skills and tools. So to all of you, thank you so much for your wonderful support and hope to see you in the very near future. Thank you. Bye-bye, Elsa.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.